It's been 3 days now since Fortuna dropped, and this is the first time I've actually equipped Garuda, because she, honestly, to get, not that bad. The big problem with her comes with the building requirements to actually build her. Obviously, you're going to be doing the bounties to get her parts, which is great because you're going to have to level up the Solaris standing to be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different blueprints from the mining person to be able to build the components to actually build her. She is insanely heavy. She's insanely heavy on resources from Fortuna, from the vallis, including the torrids, which, as far as I can tell, they tend to spawn very, very scarcely in caves. I very stupidly traded mine to Little Duck, and now I can't do anything because I need 2 of each of them to be able to level it up, but I don't know where these 9 came from because I had 4 and I give her 2 of them, so I should have 2 left, but now I have 9, but I haven't picked any up. So I really don't know where they are coming from, because you pick them up. These, yeah, I kind of regret doing that because it would have been nice to have them. I didn't know how rare they were when I used them, and then everything else about her is just the basics. You build those, they're going to take 12 hours each. It's 3,500 kuva to combine these. This is because she is very heavy on the blood abilities, which you can probably tell from the name of her abilities. We have Blood Altar, where you impale enemies. We have Bloodletting, where you sacrifice your health to generate energy. You have Dread Mirror, where you rip the life force from an enemy and use it as a shield, which you can then charge and shoot at people. And then there's Seeking Talon, which, weirdly, doesn't actually have anything to do with blood. Oh, no, there it is. It ends the description of it with the word bleeding. Hence, so much cover is needed for her because she is heavy on the blood. Probably why she's kind of red in colour. She will come with a V aura, which of course means steel charge. For leveling purposes has to go in there, but you know that growing power will have to make its way in there simply because applying status effect to her abilities is going to be really useful considering she is very heavy on those, but that gives you more points for leveling purposes. Then she has a D polarity and a dash polarity. She's going to be an interesting one to try and throw a build on, but more than likely it's going to be a V for primed continuity, and we will get there. Yep, a dash, another dash, maybe, or another V. There's going to be at least 2 Vs and a dash that has to go on her to give her a decent build, but more than likely you're going to want duration and power strength on her more than anything else, which is why I was saying 2 Vs, because you can throw things like that on there, which should in theory be countered by the primed continuity to still have plus duration, and then plus that, and you can always then top it up with some other mods and still have decent duration and still have decent power strength. Now, unlike Valkyria, you can see Valkyria has her talons as part of her build, but if you actually go and equip Garuda, which by the way is actually worse than Valkyria is, less armor, less energy, more shields, less sprint speed. Doesn't start off well for Garuda really, does it? But she seems to be missing something here. Though, to get them to appear, go with no melee weapon, and ta-da! They magically appear from nowhere in this. That's because I have radiation and viral on there at the minute. They just magically appear if you run no melee weapon. And my Moa is now dead. But her abilities are great. Her passive is when her life gets further down to almost depleted just before she dies, her damage will increase, which goes great because if you use her first ability, you will summon a shield. And if you look at the top of the screen there, just above the shield, you can see there's a timer going up. Of course, this would be going up more if I had the heavy gunner actually shooting the shield, not me, and the same with these guys. Duration is going to be important for this first ability. The only thing that's annoying me is I have yet to get this to function where it actually shoots at enemies. I don't know if there is something wrong with my game in particular, but when she first came out, this was a huge problem. Now this number will continue to go up, and I'm hoping this works here. You can charge it, nothing happens. I'm not kidding, I'm actually holding the button here to charge it, and nothing happens. Then there are the rest of her abilities. The second ability will cast spikes from the floor, which the spears will drain the life from enemies and give it to allies and Garuda herself standing inside of this circle you can see. And the best thing is, it's castable on multiple enemies, so when you do use her third ability, which her third ability is really simple. She sacrifices health to generate energy. You can see it going all the way up in the bottom right, but because I am close to these people who have been blood altered, the bloodletting will recharge really quickly. Well, her health will recharge really quickly because there is a major downside to using her third ability, and well, that basically comes to the fact that you can see it's going up really quickly here, but if I just kind of leave the area and use bloodletting to get more power, it will take you down to 2 health, and that's it, you're done. You can't go beneath 2 health, but as you can imagine, a single shot from any enemy will instantly kill you. And considering that I'm basically using bloodletting here and her second ability and nothing else, you can actually drain the life from enemies very efficiently. So not only are you being healed during this and regaining your energy, you are healing allies around you and draining it from enemies, which means that they are actually being dealt damage. They did say you would be able to deal damage, but as you can see, it's coming up with a lot of zeros. The only damage you can deal to them is if you have damage dealt to yourself. You are draining the health from them. It's like a vampire effect, and it is really well. The 2 abilities work ridiculously well together. Lastly is Seeking Talons, her 4th ability, and I'm going to wait for these 2 to come out of this. You can charge this ability. Weirdly, this one works on its charge basis. The first one I still cannot get to work, but this one will, and they will end up with this logo above their head, which means they are affected by the bleed proc, the slash proc. It's pretty much guaranteed every time. The charge just kind of, you see, if I stand here and cast it, it shouldn't affect the one on the left. If I get them within this circle and then cast it, it affects the one on the left. So it widens the range for closer enemies. It does have limitations, it's not an endless range, but you can see the amount of damage that it's actually doing now. I have in the past turned around and said she's not actually that good. This just comes down to the fact that I cannot use her first ability in conjunction with this because it works ridiculously well together, but just by itself you can see level 160 and level 0. She is very powerful, not overpowerful, because the reason it works so well is it debuffs the enemies and leaves them with a bleeding proc. If it wasn't for the debuff with the bleeding proc, that wouldn't work so well. And of course her first ability mixed with her 4th ability here works wonders. Of course, as I've mentioned, the fact that for some reason mine will not cast abilities from the keyboard, I can press the buttons but nothing happens, is massively problematic. So massive thanks to Knighton_Prime for sending this to me. Well, technically they didn't send this to me, and I've kind of asked permission if I could use this or not, because I cannot experience this for myself, which is a huge issue for me, because when I press the buttons to use abilities on the keyboard, nothing works. My abilities do not work from my keyboard. I've had to map a button in so I can use the abilities from the keyboard. It'll select them, it won't use them. So this is why this was delayed so long, because I've been trying to figure this out, and Well, today I finally decided I'm going to have to use this because it works so well together. She is so good when you link her fourth ability like that with her first ability being able to throw that charge and deal all that extra damage. It would just be really nice if I could experience this for myself instead of having to rely on other people and hoping that soon this gets fixed. But I'm starting to realize I've had this issue for a month. I thought it was a few weeks. It's been a month and there's still no light at the tunnel, so all I can do is watch other people experience the wonders of Garuda. I don't know where Gara came from. Experience the wonders of Garuda while I sit back and watch and cry because I cannot charge her first ability to do this. I can make everything else work, but I cannot charge her first ability like this and experience this for myself. And I will admit that I have turned around and mentioned that she's not as powerful as everybody keeps saying she is, but really this has just come down to jealousy more than anything else because I'm having some slight issues, and I've actually tried this on another computer and the same problem persists. I don't know what it is. I've set everything to default and I will eventually get this fixed and be able to experience it for myself. But in the meantime, I think I'm just jealous that everybody else can experience Garuda for all of her goodness, shall we say, because I wouldn't say she's overpowered, but she is set up so well that Blood Altar works with Bloodletting ridiculously well, Seeking Talons works with Dread Mirror ridiculously well. She is, for all purposes, a Volt killer, because Volt has his shield, but Dread Mirror is just, I'm not going to say better, but because you can throw it to deal damage, it's not just defensive, it's also offensive, which makes her a more usable frame than Volt is. And with that, I think we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.